What's going on, your man Will Freeman, RevolutionaryLifestyleDesign.com, talking to you today about how to be more confident. I got my shades on for that little bit of extra confidence, even though I'm inside. Also, full disclosure, so I can read a little bit without you see my eyes moving to the side, man, because I'm styling and profiling, man. Feeling myself, feeling my Ric Flair today, the definition of confidence. So I want to be able to help you become more confident. Not confident in any situation, not confident all the time, because that's not a reality, okay? Fear, anxiety, worry, stress are things you're going to have to deal with for the rest of your life. But there are really effective strategies for that. You can check out my course on how to fight fear. And being able to become more confident is one of those strategies that's going to make you more comfortable. It's going to make you more effective. It's going to make you be able to sell better. It's going to make you be able to get more women or get better quality of women, and on and on and on. So the first thing you need to understand about confidence is, let's go with the dictionary definition. It's a feeling of self-assurance arising from one's own appreciation of one's abilities and qualities. That really gets you excited, doesn't it? Like, that's the technical definition. Here's how I see it. Confiding in yourself, okay? That means that when you have a problem, you go to yourself for the answer. When you have something that needs to be solved, you ask yourself the questions how to get it done. You believe that you can get it done, and you choose your own answers for that problem. You don't go lean on someone else to have them solve your problems. Most people want to lean on someone else to solve their problems. Okay, that's why we have the political situation we have today, because people are looking for that politician to fix their problems, and that is never ever going to happen. Okay, the person who is going to fix your life is you. Okay, you're the only person who's going to fix your life. So you need to be confident in yourself. You need to confide in yourself. You need to know that you have the right information. If you don't have the right information, you need to know that you have the ability to go out there and get the right information that's going to solve your problems, and then follow through on that. Okay? When you're confident, you ask yourself the questions to your problems, and you listen to yourself for the answers. And the more consistently you listen to yourself, and the more consistently you're right because of that, and the more consistently you win because of that, the more confident you get. Okay, it's like, you'll never have total confidence. The fear never goes away totally, especially when you continue to stretch yourself. But believe me, when you are used to being confident, you develop the identity of adapt and overcome. To me, I'm just like, adapt and overcome anything in business or whatever. It's like, whatever hurdle it is, I'll figure out a way to jump over it. When you that's when you know that you're confident. You're like, drop me down in any city in the world, I'll be able to adapt and overcome and survive and thrive in that environment. Okay, that's where you can get to. But for me, it started as a kid. It's not an overnight thing. I'm a fatherless child. Grew up on single mom's nursing salary. We had a black and white TV. Had our ground floor apartment broken into, things stolen. Had my shoes on layaway at some point. Had a rotary phone. That was a rental. So, I grew up in a situation where I knew that by 12 I had to solve my own problems. I didn't have father figures. I had some guys in my life, but they weren't permanent. And I knew I had to be able to solve my problems. I had a lot of intellectual questions as well about God and the nature of the universe. My mom didn't have the answers for that. So I realized that pretty young, that like I had to be able to make my own answers in this game of life and confide in myself. And I honestly think that's been such a massive advantage for me, because I started early. I don't think I would have this site if I hadn't perhaps a different background. It also gave me the motivation to do this site. I think the majority of the motivation is to be able to give you guys the answers that I've come up with through my blood, sweat, and tears, so that you don't have to go through that, and you can start to survive and thrive, immediately and more effectively. Okay? Because there's no rule book to life. So I started asking questions and finding answers within myself, and I developed a habit of relying on myself to solve my own problems. And even when things got hard, a lot of the time I wouldn't let on. I wouldn't tell other people I was sick, or something else was going on with me. or I wouldn't reach out. I would solve that problem myself. And it's something that therapists, kind of the opposite of what therapists will tell you to do. I can tell you, looking back, every single time that was the right thing, because every one of those times I got way stronger by handling that myself and just taking that on my back. um, Way stronger, dude. Like in the moment when you're struggling, you might not feel that. You might want to reach out to a bunch of people, but when you take that on yourself, you take it on your back, you become a different kind of animal by then. Once you've done that one, two, three, or four, five, 6 times on some big issues, breakups, debt, failed businesses, depression. When you handle that stuff, man, it puts you in a different ball game, dude. Different mentality, and you're just a different kind of animal. Like 99% of people are looking for someone to lean on. When you become the guy that you lean on yourself and that other people can lean on, I mean, you're a different kind of animal. So I carried that habit with me into adulthood, and the idea is the goal is to become your own good father. Okay, because there's a boy inside of you. It's the boy that you were at 7. He's still there, and you need to be able to become a good father and to be able to lean on that part of yourself. For like the fear, the scare, that's the boy talking, right? I'm scared of this, or I don't want to get hurt, or these are coping mechanisms and emotions that you developed at like 6 or 7 years old that are still with you. But then you have to have that super ego, that father figure within your mind, who is rational, cool, calm, and collected, who's consistent, and who that boy is able to listen to. Okay, so you need to become a good father to yourself, and you can learn from others, but ultimately you want to be able to stand on your own 2 feet. You can go anywhere in the world. You can take care of your own revenue with your business. You're not dependent on people. Different ball game, and just totally different reality, and it's a beautiful thing when you can get to that. And when you have that, other people will gravitate towards you like moths to a flame. Okay, when because the vast majority of people are looking for help, they're looking for certainty, they're looking for answers. When you have that and you can sell certainty effectively, you become successful, period. You become successful when you can solve problems, sell them with certainty effectively, and help others. You will be a success. All right. So here are 6 ways to become more confident. Number 1 is progressive resistance. Okay, just like in the gym where you're going to try and lift more weight than you did last week, progressive resistance is just doing it. It's going in with baby steps and then doing a little bit more. If you're scared to talk to girls, it's just going up to 1 girl that day and asking the time. Next day it's 2 girls. By the end of the week, it's asking the time and asking where she's going. Those little progressive resistance baby steps. Okay, by the end of the year, I mean, you could just be going up to every girl telling her she's beautiful and trying to get her to come home with you. Okay, that's the biggest key for confidence, is actually doing it and pushing yourself outside of your comfort zone. Okay, and a baby step, reward yourself for doing it, even if you don't get it. It's win-win. Like the confidence actually comes after the fact. It comes after that progressive resistance. Progressive resistance is like the first step, the baby step. The reward's going to come with it. And if you want to do this well, link pleasure to pushing that boundary. Okay, link pleasure to pushing that boundary. Like cold calls, right? I used to do cold calls in sales, 100 cold calls a day. I hated them. But I would link it to the amount of money that I was going to make. I was like, okay, if I'm doing 100 cold calls a day times 20 work days, that's 2,000 cold calls a month, which means those actions will get me X amount of revenue. That X amount of revenue is going to go into my savings. That savings is going to go reinvested in my business, and that also is going to go, some of that's going to stay in my savings to build further that safety net so I can go to Thailand, 3 years from then. Like that was my mentality. So you link that to some type of a pleasure. Like I have to approach X many girls to get a girlfriend, or to get a girl to come home with me. Okay, that's super important. So progressive resistance, the confidence is going to come after the fact. Baby step into it, and link the actions with the pleasure of getting what you want. All right. Very important. Number two, be in the best available state at all times. By state, I mean your entire life is a series of state changes. State is your thoughts, emotions, and sensations within your body combined together. Okay, when all those things are good, when you have good thoughts, good emotions, and good sensations, good is of course subjective, but when you're feeling it's good, then you're happy. So you won't. So your life is nothing but a series of state changes. The better your state is, the more confident you're going to be. Okay. Specifically, feeling as good and high energy as possible. You know, you've got the blood flowing, you've got all the positive neurotransmitters running through your head, you've got a lot of dopamine, serotonin, all those things are good, firing away. You're going to be more confident. You're going to be way more confident, okay? If I've been sitting at my computer all day writing, my state is terrible for socializing. You know, if I'm just there 8 hours a day and I'm writing, I'm going to 7-Eleven and I'm like, nobody talk to me. I don't even want to talk. I'm like, just give me my thing and let me get out of here, okay? The exact opposite of high state, high energy, high socializing. As opposed to when I used to work in sales and I'm on the phone all day selling, by the time I get out of sales, you know, I'm Mr. Social. Like I've broken through so many fear barriers, calling people. I'm like, I'm talking to everybody, you know, I'm in a good mood. Part of the reason I'm moving away from doing writing, want to move more into videos and I'm going to get clients back so that I'm not stuck inside writing all day. Also going to get an office with people so that I can pump that state back up. Although the amount of writing and all the stuff that I did has been super useful for my business, but for my state, it's not the best. So, but let's say compare that to if I've had some caffeine, I have some Phenibut in me, I got up early, I did my exercise, I haven't ejaculated in months, had my diet on point, have been having some nice Carezza style non-ejaculatory sex with a girl that I love. Then I'm out drinking it up with the boys at the bar, having a good time. You know, it's 9 o'clock or whatever. Now my state's beautiful. My state's perfect. Like my state's night and day difference from, you know, had I been sitting inside doing computer work all day. Okay, so that state makes a massive difference. There were days where I had like little to no fear doing cold calls, and there were days where I was like, you know, oh, I can't make this call. I can't call this guy today. I cannot do it, you know, like and sometimes those would be in the same week because my state was lower that day. Okay. So don't think that, you know, just because you had the progressive resistance and confidence and all these different things, you know, it's going to stay the same every single day. No, you're like, it's a lot of it's dependent on how you're feeling, how your state is. So that's why I talk about state being so important to you guys, you know, keeping that state high, keeping the energy high, keeping that pimp hand strong, man, staying up, dude, you know, staying positive, not getting dragged down in negative news and media and, you know, all kinds of, you know, conspiracy theories and dude, just stay in your lane, stay in your zone, stay positive, eat as healthy as you can, ejaculate as little as you can, diet as good as you can. Major difference on your confidence level. Number 3, fake it till you make it. Mick Jagger was a skinny, effeminate, upper middle class English lad playing black American blues music in pretty much drag, and rock stars didn't exist at that time. Rock stars didn't exist until he convinced the world that rock stars existed and that he was the biggest and best of all of them. Okay, he was faking it till he made it. He wasn't Mick Jagger back then. He was he was Michael Jagger. That was his real name. Michael Jagger became Mick Jagger. So that's a different ballgame, dude. Like no one starts out as Mick Jagger. No one starts out as Tom Cruise. No one starts out as whoever the guy is, right? They fake it till they make it, right? You start acting the part before you are the part. Okay, just like a method actor, you know, the method actor is going to get into character first. He's not just going to show up to a movie and be like, okay, I didn't train for this, I'm just going to try and act. No, he's going to study, he's going to become that character before, you know, practice, fake it till he makes it. Then it becomes second language. Like at some point, probably all the mannerisms I have now and the way I speak and the way I dress was all things that I learned, but they just become unconscious, and they become unconscious with a lot of people who've developed confidence. Okay, so fake it till you make it. Super important. Every confident guy was an awkward 13-year-old boy. I'll tell you that, with your voice cracking and the middle school dance where the boys are on one side and the girls are on the other side, and you're scared to death to go across that room to go dance with the girl and hold her by the elbows, and like like every guy was that scared. I was, I sure was. And you fake it till you make it, and then you get that confidence, and it's yours, and you own it, and no one can take it from you. Number four, confide in yourself. We talked a bit about this in the definition of confidence, but I want to tell you like the actual words. At least the words that I use are like, I got this, I can do this, like I'm not going to quit, I can't be stopped. And I believe all those things. Okay, I believe that. Like literally confiding in yourself, being your own counsel, turning to yourself. And when those insecurities come up, the fear or the uncertainty or whatever, you just don't listen to that. You don't identify with those thoughts. You identify with the strong, confident thoughts. Both thoughts will come to you, but especially if you're stretching, the more you stretch, the more those negative demons will attack, but you just identify with the good ones as much as you possibly can. As much as you can. That's what confidence is. It's identifying with surety, with certainty, with knowing what you're doing. There's a saying that I can be wrong, but I'm never in doubt, and I really like that, because I probably make a mistake every day, but when I'm committed to it, I'm certain of it until something else changes the trajectory. And you need to move through life with that certainty, dude, and you need to be able to project that to other people if you want them to buy into you, and for you to be successful. They need to buy into your certainty. Like when I'm reading an article, dude, you know what I hate the most? I'm like, what's the best camera for vlogging or something like that? They'll be like, a guy will review like 4 cameras, and it'll be like, these each have their pros and cons. These ones are good for that, so you can choose what you want. I'm like, dude, I don't want to choose. I want you as the authority to tell me the best one and why it's better than everything else, and I want you to do it with total certainty. Okay? I hate that wishy-washy stuff. Everyone hates that. All right? People want an authority. They want a guy who knows what he's doing. If you're selling a product, like, this is the house for you. Here's why. They have some objections. You're like, no, these are the reasons, and you're certain, right? Not like, oh, I don't know. You can choose what you want. Okay? That's not going to attract people. That's not going to close deals. That's not going to inspire confidence in others. It's going to inspire unconfidence. When your confidence can inspire other people to be confident, it's going to inspire them to be certain. All right? So confide in yourself. And, if you need to lean, if you're a younger guy, you need to lean on my confidence right now. Lean on my confidence, dude. That's what I'm here for. Until you're able to become your own father. If all of us had good fathers who are happy, healthy, and wealthy, if all of us had Richard Branson as a father, I wouldn't have a business here. I wouldn't have a business here if all you guys had a father telling you the right thing. Okay? So you have to become your own father. You have to be able to lean on yourself, confide in yourself, do that self-talk, tell yourself you can do it, buy into yourself, and choose to identify with those confident thoughts. So important. Okay? Number 5, 2 more points to go. Number 5 is win. All right? This is the one the therapists don't want you to hear. This is the one the therapist won't admit exists. They're like, you should be happy just to be productive and doing your job. And if you can be 5% happier, that's good. It's not good, okay? Half of your self-esteem comes from competing. The other half comes from being a good person, right? People like you, you're a good person. That's half of it. The other half is your success. Okay, you're in shape, you're dressed well. And that's competition. Success is defined by people who aren't succeeding. Being fit is defined by people who aren't in shape. Having money is defined by people who are poor. There's no way out of that one. It's an ugly truth, but half of your self-esteem is based on competition, is based on winning. Okay? There's only so much, like real world, not fakeable, external metrics, like hard metrics, hard data. Okay? Like you have X amount of money, you're in shape, you can get girls, you can this, that, and the other thing, or just even if you're starting smaller wins, okay, and all the quote unquote inner game in the world is not going to solve that. Is not going to solve not having wins. Okay, you might not have wins yet, but if you're working towards them, that's good. Like that it's a real thing. Okay, because I remember I used to read like guys were talking about using NLP to pick up girls, and it would be like project yourself as 10 feet tall, and like that stuff you can't trick your brain to that extent. There's a lot of inner work you can do and preparing yourself and getting your mind right. I mean, I teach a ton of that, but you also have to get like external stuff in the world coming in, right? You can't dress like a slob and you know try and project this era of confidence and winning. Or if you do, it's gonna hurt you. Okay, it's gonna hurt you. I mean, you one of the best ways to get more confident is to win. Period. Okay, the most confident, like look at Conor McGregor, like super confident guy because he keeps winning, man. He's had a few losses in there, but he brag about what he's gonna do, and then he actually went out and did it. So like you do that 2 or 3 times, you're gonna be very confident, right? Almost to the point where you're getting to that hubris, where too confident, where cockiness comes before a fall. But that's a topic for a different article, different video. So if you're struggling on getting the wins, okay, because you might not be in a position where you're winning, just focus on getting those easy wins. It was like Cus D'Amato was training a young Mike Tyson, and he would just feed these older tomato cans at him and just let Mike Tyson knock him down. And then, Tyson's 15, 16, he's seeing himself knock out these grown men, and his confidence is starting to grow. Okay? D'Amato didn't put him up with, the best in the world for sparring because he knew that that's going to knock his confidence back down. He knew that, 90% of boxing and fighting was psychology. And he did a very good job in the way that he trained Tyson and baby stepped him into those wins. So if you're not winning, like find some way to like win the day, like 2 or 3 easy wins that you can do every day. The fact is not everyone can win by the definition of the word. Success is in opposition to people who are unsuccessful. Winning's in opposition to people who are losing. And being a quote unquote winner, it's impossible for everyone. Like the world needs janitors and factory workers and all these other things. And I respect those people and I have empathy for them. But I want more for myself. And I'm sure if you're listening to this, you want more for yourself. And it's not fair and it's not going to be available for everybody. But if you really put your mind towards it and focus on it, you can make those wins start happening. And to get that confidence, you need to have at least some wins coming in, if you want to be able to amplify that. Or at least, if you're in a downward slope, like some things didn't work, at least you can look back on like your past wins, when you're playing soccer growing up or before that to sort of re-inspire you like, I am a winner, I can do it. I'm just losing right now. Okay. But, the fact is, you want to be one of the guys that's winning this game of life. Life is a lot better. It's a lot easier. And the more wins you have in the past and the present, the more confident you're going to be in the future. That's a fact. Okay. And all the inner game in the world is useful. But I mean, you at some point you start to have like those external, like actual metrics to prove to other people and to prove to yourself, and confidence will come with that. Lastly, last point, number 6, keep the promises you make to yourself. This is very, very important. To be confident, you have to trust yourself, okay? When you break promises to yourself, you lose trust for yourself. So the way we were talking is like the scared, uncertain, unconfident person in you is like that boy. It's like it's that 7-year-old who still has, this, where you developed these emotional reactions to things at 6 or 7, and they're still there within you. And then the super ego is the rational, cool, calm, collected, man, advisor within your psyche who is able to tell you the right things to do. Okay. And I use that as an example of like that being your father and wanting that to be a good father. Okay. When you break promises to yourself, like you don't trust yourself. So now you have a bad father. You have a father that says he's going to come to your baseball game. He tells you that every week and he never shows up. And so eventually you stop trusting him. When you break promises to yourself, okay, when you break promises to yourself, you stop trusting yourself. You stop trusting that calm, cool, collected, rational voice in your head, okay? Because you allowed that promise to break. So when you set that goal for the year, commit to it. Like really commit to it. Treat it like it's a gun to your head and get it done. Like when I'm talking with guys and they're like, "Well, I don't have the motivation to do this," or like I'm wishy-washy and I keep slipping up, I'm like, take that off your task list because you're not serious about it. When you're serious, you'll go through like an obstacle course to get it. You'll do like put this stuff on there that you're willing to run a marathon for. Like that serious, like gun to your head serious, so that you don't break the promises to yourself. It's okay to say I'm not ready to lose 30 pounds. I'm not there yet. I don't want it enough. It's better to do that than to go in and keep doing it and keep cheating yourself and keep lying to yourself and keep breaking that promise. When you make the goal, make it a commitment. And if it's going in that Wunderlist, dude, okay, see how to do that in my How to Get Organized book over at revolutionarylifestyledesign.com. But if it's going that Wunderlist, okay, and it's one of your goals for that year, it's got to be real serious. You got to really commit to it, okay? Because when you don't commit to yourself, when you break promises, you stop trusting yourself and you fail yourself, and that's one of the worst places to be when you don't trust yourself, man. Anyone who's dealt with addictions knows what that's like, and it's not a good place to be in. So make and keep promises to yourself, and the more you do that, the more you'll trust yourself, the more confident you'll be in your ability to get things done, and that's where you want to be. So those are the 6 points. You can check over revolutionarylifestyledesign.com for the full article, because I know I cover a lot of detail there for your reference. And I hope you found that useful. Let me know what you think. Also, checking me out at Facebook, iTunes, SoundCloud, and feel free to drop a comment there on my YouTube or on my website. Much love to you.